can be very lucrative, and it doesn't require me to be in a studio for a bunch of hours a day, every single day. And I'm also talking to the cable network about doing a 1-hour political commentary show 1 day a week, which won't take too much time from my family. So.
Wow, great. Glad to hear. We need you back on there. Really good. Okay, Rachel. How can I best pay down my credit card debt?
Can you hear me without a microphone?
Yes.
There's a couple of different answers to that, and it really depends on the credit card, and it depends on the amount of debt. If you have one credit card, I recommend paying more than they're asking you to pay each month. If you've got a high interest rate on it and you feel like it's eating into the amount that you're paying each month, call the bank. The banks are ready to talk to you. Every day something is changing at the banks, as Paula can tell you, and they're more willing probably now to talk to you than they certainly were in the past 5 to 7 years. If you feel like your interest rate is fine and you just need to whittle it down, pay more than what they're asking if you can. And it truly, truly matters if that more is $5 more, $50 more, $500 more a month. It would make a little difference. Just chip away at it and throw any extra money you have at it. I know that's kind of a goofy thing to think about having extra money, but throw whatever you can at that credit card. And then, even though you don't ask this follow-up question, I was going to say, the money you were paying for that credit card, I highly recommend you tuck a portion of that away into a little savings afterwards. And then you are basically creating your very own credit card.
Remember that credit card debt is unsecured debt, which means that there's no collateral, there's no, they can't take your house away if you haven't been paying your credit card on time. So you wouldn't want to take equity out of your house to pay a credit card, because now you're putting your house on the chopping block if you cannot continue to pay off your unsecured debt. So you have to be careful. Paula, is it safe to keep our money in a savings account in the bank?
That's a great question, and there are a lot of different ways that you can keep your money safe in banks. If everyone's familiar with the FDIC, that's the insurance coverage that covers up to $250,000 per account, and that's not just opening up a bunch of accounts in your own name or your kids' names. It's separate accounts in each individual's name, you, your husband, your kids, etc. Up to $250,000 for each of those accounts in any bank is going to be protected. So that's sort of your first line of defense. As the numbers get bigger, there are other things you can do. The other very safe thing to do is invest in treasury bills. Treasury bills are just investments that are guaranteed by the U.S. government. Also very, very safe. So as you get to the point where the dollar amounts get larger, you need to look at those things. But a savings account, if you keep it under $250 and you set it up the right way, is going to be very safe.
Thank you so much. Okay, Kim. Good one for you, and I hope this is going to be one of the major takeaways of the day. What phrase should I think of when I am stressed out?
Like I said in my speech, just remember, this isn't the phrase, but just remember that how you spend your day is how you spend your life. So to be really mindful of making each day important for you and your family together. But the phrase would be, and all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all shall be well.
Oh, wow. Wonderful. Great. Wow. Okay, that's great. All shall be well. And I do fully believe that. Judy, what did your kids think of the fact that you were a working mom and not a non-working mom?
I think that the question was before and after.
Think of working mom.
They love
How do they feel now that you're a non-working mom as opposed to when you were a working mom?
There's one thing they miss, and that is there were perks about the radio, about being on the radio, and they never had to wait on a line at Great Adventure. They got to go in the exit. They watched their friends standing on line for 2 hours, and they went on it 15 times. But aside from that, I think they really feel the difference now that I'm home. So they thought it was cool they had a mother on the radio, but I think they feel better now.
Excellent. Okay, Paula, do you think the bailout will help the economy? And what does it mean to us? Did I read this? No. I read it. Okay, here's another one for Paula. How are the banks allowed to initially give the public mortgage rates which started such serious economic problems?
That's a really complicated question, but it's really started not so much, the banks don't necessarily lend the money themselves. They have to get the money from somewhere. And if you think back a couple of years ago, interest rates were very, very low, and investors are people like us, investors are Harvard, investors are pension funds, investors were looking to get higher returns on their money. So one way to get higher returns is to lend money to people who probably shouldn't be borrowing that money. You can charge them more because they're kind of on the edge to begin with. And very simply, that's kind of what happened. There was a lot of demand for high returns, and the banks noted that, and they said, okay, we can start lending and making mortgages to people on the edge, and we'll be able to then sell off those mortgages to investors. And that's how this whole problem spread way beyond the banks.
So what you're saying is greed is the root of the issue of the problem.
Definitely greed and looking for a lot of return without realizing the risk.
Stand up. Go ahead.
Isn't that in essence a kind of Ponzi scheme? Like
She's asking if this is in essence like a Ponzi scheme.
I guess the difference between that and a Ponzi scheme is that nobody did this maliciously. I don't think that people, who were putting this all together thought that they were creating this sort of house of cards. But in a way, when you kind of peel it all back, there wasn't enough money there to support, the investment. So.
Okay, I have one last question for Yvette. I have small children, and I am not able to go out to work. What can I do to help my family?
I think the most important thing that you can do is children are never too young to learn. To begin to teach your children to pitch in and help, no matter what age they are. Also, to start at a very young age to teach your children good values, the value of $1. That's something we were taught in my family. It has served me well throughout my life. Teach them the value of $1. Teach them a good work ethic, and teach them how to save $1 also. My father always said to me, save a little for a rainy day, because a rainy day is coming.
I think the rainy day is here. It's pouring outside. So, in a figurative way. You don't need your umbrellas today. Okay. We have so many questions here left, and I know that time is short. It's 3 o'clock. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say to you that these ladies are all so gracious, and they have decided that they would like to stay as long as you would like to ask them some questions one-on-one. We have a fabulous lunch downstairs. We have all the goodies to take home. And we're here. We're not going anywhere. And please stay as long as you like. And please join me in thanking everybody for coming this afternoon and to the Ladies Angel Network and the Angel Fund for today's event. Thank you.